Today we're taking a look at these NBA matches, which are happening on Friday, December 31st, 2021, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 500 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting advice that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advice. Chicago Bulls vs Indiana Pacers. DeMar DeRozan, Zach Lavin, and Vucevic combined for 89 points in that 130-118 road win at Atlanta, but the Bulls still feel less than complete without Lonzo Ball manning the point. This team, you've almost got to stack it up as a big four coming out there. DeRozan said to AP reporters. "We're the veteran leaders of this team. It was on us to step up and play big, especially the 3 main guys did what they were supposed to do, and everybody else fell in line. Look for the Bulls to continue rolling against a struggling Pacers team. The Bulls aren't at full strength right now, and they're still one of the best teams in the NBA. The combination of DeMar DeRozan and Zach Lavin has been one of the greatest spectacles so far this season. There's a lot of unselfishness on the Bulls team with multiple superstars, and it's a big reason why they've been so successful right off the bat. The Pacers still have their front court players, but their backcourt has been devastated with injuries and COVID designations. It's the worst case scenario for a team that was already struggling to defend at the perimeter. The shooting of DeRozan and Lavin will reign supreme in this matchup against a Pacers team that finds their defensive strength on the interior. Malcolm Brogdon and Chris Duarte not being on the floor is a big loss for Indiana in a game where they'll fall behind early on the scoreboard. Our first betting advice is to pick Chicago Bulls to cover the spread. Trust me, this is not the way the Pacers wanted to bring in the new year. But they also aren't a team that's going to back down from adversity, either. They still have a solid front court with Domantas Sabonis and Miles Turner. And Caris LeVert is capable of putting on his own splash show on any given night. Opposing teams are averaging 113.3 points against the Bulls in their last 3 outings. The Pacers are at home for this meeting, and they'll clearly have opportunities to get on the scoreboard. But their perimeter defense is a problem. They're allowing 40.7% shooting on average from beyond the arc this season. If they can't defend the perimeter, the Bulls will eat them up from long distance. Our second betting advice is to pick over the total. Quick reminder, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 500 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting advice that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advice. Jalen Brunson will team up with Green to provide playmaking opportunities in the backcourt without Doncic there. The Mavericks are averaging a lackluster 105 points per game, good for 25th in the NBA. Of course, that number will trend up with Doncic and Hardaway returning to the lineup at some point in the next week. The Kings need to win this game. Dallas did a tremendous job of limiting their possessions and turning the game into a snail's race. If the Kings can get some turnovers going and run the court, things could get lopsided fast and in a hurry. They're averaging 104.1 possessions per game this season, but the Mavs somehow held them to only 91.7 possessions. That needs to change if they hope to end the last-second drama. Sacramento's defense is clearly a mess, and their best chance of victory is trying to draw Dallas into an offensive firefight. Opposing teams are averaging 113.8 points per game against the Kings this season, but this Mavs team is sputtering offensively with Doncic out. Our first betting advice is to pick Dallas Mavericks. The Kings are expected to trot out a new lineup for this matchup against the Mavericks. Marvin Bagley, who had started just 1 game previously this season, responded to promotion from interim coach Alvin Gentry with 9 points and 10 rebounds as part of one of the Kings' best team efforts of the season against the Thunder. They followed that up with a win against the Mavs on Wednesday. It came in the wake of one of their worst, a 127-102 home shellacking at the hands of the Memphis Grizzlies, a drubbing Gentry labeled ridiculous. They received good production from Bagley, Richaun Holmes, and new big man Damian Jones. Bagley, Holmes, and Jones figure to have their hands full Friday with Maverick 7-footer Kristaps Porzingis, who scorched the Trailblazers before dropping a gem on the Kings Wednesday night. Our second betting advice is to pick under the total. Miami Heat vs Houston Rockets. Miami is scoring an average of 107.4 points per game, which is 18th in the NBA. The Heat are shooting 46.0% overall, which is 12th best, and 37.0% from long distance, which is 4th best. Jimmy Butler is the leading scorer with an average of 22.7 points per game, and Tyler Herro is second with an average of 20.6 points per game. Kyle Lowry is the leader in assists, but is out, and therefore the active leader in assists is Butler with an average of 5.7 dishes per contest. Miami is averaging 25.3 assists and 13.8 turnovers for an assist-to-turnover ratio of 1.8. The Heat are used to playing with a shorthanded roster, but every team has its limits. They're at the point now where they have to be wondering where the healthy bodies are going to come from. Duncan Robinson being gone takes a major offensive contributor off the floor for them, and Jimmy Butler is also questionable to play with an ankle injury. The Rockets are simply the healthier team at this point with a clear advantage at home. Christian Wood will enjoy the paint area without having to worry about contending with Heat center Bam Adebayo. So much is said about the Rockets' dribbles that people sometimes overlook the fact that they have real talent on the floor with young players like Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr. The duo will help Wood and company open up offensively on a Heat team that'll take a massive step back defensively with so many players being out of the lineup. Houston scores an average of 107.0 points per game, which is 19th in the NBA. Houston's field goal percentage is 45.2%, which is 17th, and the Rockets are shooting 34.4% from behind the three-point line, which is 19th. Wood is the leading scorer for Houston with an average of 17.3 points per game, while the second leading scorer is Jalen Green with an average of 14.8 points per game. Eric Gordon averages a team-best 3.4 assists per contest. Houston is averaging 23.2 assists and 16.6 turnovers for an assist-to-turnover ratio of 1.4. Our first betting advice is to pick Miami Heat to cover the spread. I wouldn't hold my breath. This Miami team is allowing 44% shooting on average and 103.4 points per game. But they could be missing multiple key players in this game, and it could help generate another opportunity for the Rockets to shine offensively. There's no Bam Adebayo waiting in the paint for Christian Wood, and Jalen Green is clearly in the market for scoring 20-plus points for a third time. But the defense has to be better for the Rockets. They can't just lie down and let the Heat bully them at the rim. More importantly, they have to stop playing hot potato with the basketball and turning it over. The Houston Rockets are 29th in the NBA in points allowed at 114.8 points per game. Opponents are shooting 46.4% overall against Houston, which is 24th in the NBA, and 34.6% from behind the three-point line, which is 13th in the NBA. The Rockets allow an average of 44.9 rebounds per game, and Houston is averaging 2 rebounds per game, last 42.9. The king of the boards for Houston is Christian Wood with an average of 10.7 rebounds per game. Wood is also the SWAT leader with an average of 0.9 blocked shots per game. Daishen Nix is the leader in steals with an average of 1.5 per contest. Our second betting advice is to pick over the total.